I wanted to ask about the personal leadership style. How your leadership, like what you'll say about your leadership, because in this changing environment, and how your personal experiences have shaped your leadership style.
Well, it's a kind of loaded question, I guess, on incorporating my whole life probably contributes to how I manage people and lead people. So maybe I'll just highlight a few things that stick out for me. So one thing is, if I think about the type of job that I have as CTO, especially now doubling down with the change around us, is I think resiliency is one key thing that I know I do have, and I think is pretty important, because trying to stay even keeled and stay calm, stay focused with all the stuff going around, the pressures that we have. And I have a big team that I lead. And so trying to balance all that, I think resiliency really helps. And if I look back to my past and my personal life, growing up, I moved all different places. I lived in England, in Denmark, in Toronto. My parents moved to the US as well. And so just having to honestly move when I was growing up and make new friends and adapt to new surroundings, I think honestly actually helped me become a little bit more resilient. And also, I left home when I was just turning 18 and never went back and lived at home again, and just ended up sort of being very self-sufficient, and then went and actually worked in Europe after university for a while, and then traveled for months and months and months in all different countries, including spending quite a chunk of time in India. I think all those things just helped me with some resilience and adaptability, which I think is one of the key things that's important today. I think also being able to put yourself in the seat of the business or my employees. I've been on the business side for many years. That's where I started my career, not in technology. And so I think understanding where the business is coming from and where the clients are coming from really helps me lead my teams in a way that's very business focused, which I think gives a bit of an edge, and also makes it a bit more motivational for people to know that we're tight with the business. There's value in everything we're doing, not just tech for the sake of tech. I think also being transparent and leading by example. And also, we don't have all the answers. I'm pretty open to admitting that I don't have all the answers, especially with the environment we're in now. So I think that sometimes that openness is a way I tend to lead. And also, I think trying to be very, very focused on key priorities is a skill set that sometimes is hard, because there's so many choices. You have to really narrow it down and make the call. So those are some of the things. And then in my personal life, just to add a few more things, I always tell my teams and my leaders and folks when I'm at town halls is you need to have a passion or some things to de-stress and to make sure that you have a balanced life, right? So whether it's focus on family, focus on, I do all sorts of sports and skiing and running and cycling and did, martial arts for 30 years and taught that. It just gives you a balance, I think, in your life and how you lead that I think is really important. I could end up working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and still be behind in many ways, right? I'm sure you're the same. So I think you have to sort of step back a lot and absorb and listen to people, and which is another skill set that not everyone has. You need to listen and then absorb and then make decisions and lead that way. So those are some of the things I found have been effective, and I think that doubling down now with the pace that's happening on those key things are really important. And I'll leave you with one last piece of advice that I was given many years ago that stays with me all the time is don't spend time or efforts on things that you can't control, or stress on things you can't control. And there's so many things that we can't control. Don't focus on those things. Focus on the things you can control. And that's where you're going to get the best value, right? So I think whether it's in your personal life, which is not always easy to do, or whether it's in your work life, I think that's something that sticks with me all the time. If I find myself going off track a bit, I'm like, is that something I can control? Is it something that's going to actually add value to what I'm doing?